twins is a fascinating object or example to use for how does astrology work. And let's say you are more critical, then you would say, obviously, which is a good approach, that two people who have been born at the same moment in the same place, let's say a cesarean, they have the same birth chart. So that means if you take astrology literal, they must be the same people and they must have the same lives and they attract the same man or the same woman and they will have the same outcome in their lives. But that's not how astrology works. That would be too simple. That would almost say that if I see a birth chart, I know exactly what happens to you in life, I know exactly what you like to eat, and I know exactly where you will end up to live. And basically, I would suggest with that you have no free will, which is obviously not true. So I'm not defining your future for yourself, but astrology is much more working on a form of archetypes. What does that mean? Because archetypes is a word that we all know, but we all don't know what it actually means. So basically it's more like there is a general understanding, there's a general structure, there's a general dynamic that's happening, but still you have free will. Do you want to follow that? In which place do you want to live? It's almost like, let's say you're attracted to a beach and in another country, but you know if it's the Caribbean, is it Mexico, is it somewhere in, I don't know, like you choose, exactly, you choose where you want to live. But still, you have this urge to go to a certain place. So that's more in astrology, like I cannot see exactly who you are. Like sometimes people are afraid and they think when they do a reading with me that I know already everything about them. But it's the other way around. I can see a general dynamic, but we have to explore that together and you give me the content of your specific life and what you have chosen to do and how it's playing out, and from there we go deeper and deeper. But to come back to the questions for twins, well, in that case, I have two sisters who have been born at exactly the same moment because they had a cesarean. So it was 2 minutes difference. And what I can say about that, like if it's identical twins or just normal twins like my two sisters, there's a difference. So identical twins, they have been born in the very exact moment in the same place. Because they are identical, that means that they are actually sharing a lot of the same qualities, and that you can see, like you can see in identical twins, you can not easily separate them, and they indeed have a similar way of learning, a similar way of expressing, a similar attraction, a similar way of life. But still, you could say actually underneath that, two of personality have a different background, or let's say a different backpack of what they're carrying, so still their lives will express themselves in different ways. But nevertheless, if you have twins who are not identical, then it becomes more fascinating. Why? Because they're not identical. That means they're twins, but they have been born together, but then in the moment they have been separated with birth. So it's almost one energy has been taken apart, which is not the case in identical twins. They're almost two identical whole parts. So same energy, but in two different bodies. But with non-identical twins, they are like one energy and you now take them apart with birth. And that's what I see in my sister. So it's almost like a yin and yang, black and white, or love and hate. They are complete each other because they are the complete opposite, but they are hating each other because they are the complete opposite, but at the same time they love each other because they complete each other. So what does that mean? Using my sisters, like one sister is, for example, very much in the physical life. She has a business, she works really hard, she knows how to make money, she has made herself independent, and she knows how to employ people. She bought the house, she is renovating her own house, and she is renting it, so she knows how to live on that level, let's say. So that would say an exterior level, while my other sister is not interested in that domain. She's much more interested in the inner world. What does that mean? She cares about experience, about feelings, about emotions, and about expressing herself, what's alive in her. So they have both each their quality, and they need to be together in order that they have each other to complete each other. That's what I see with twins. So it's almost like that this also doesn't mean that they don't have this other side. But what you will see, like in my sisters, like, okay, it switches. Then the sister that has been very creative and internally focused suddenly becomes interested in a man and wants to have a stable relationship, while the other person is very alone. And then suddenly, like when this one sister with the boyfriend breaks up, the other sister found a boyfriend and they want to marry now, and the other is alone and wants to express her sexuality and find her desires and experiment with that. So you see this playing out of like very similar like dynamics on the same time, but in an opposite way. And that's the fascination of astrology, when you actually start to understand astrology not in life events, like what you exactly do, but much more what is the interest or what is governing your decision, like why you're doing what you're doing. And that's what astrology can express, because it doesn't look at the actual expression, but what motivates you, and that is your personality, what is flavoring you in order that you do what you do. And that's exactly who you are. And to understand that is understanding yourself and therefore people around you, and it really gives you empathy and compassion, because you see there is not one solution, there's just different modes of being, and everything is right. And that's really giving us a huge freedom to understand diversity and that everything makes sense. And we actually by that are coming back to ourselves, because only I can give myself the answer what I need. And that's what for me is really the gift of astrology, and hopefully we can go deeper into that.